Biology and MSc in Aquatic Biology from the University of Cape Coast, a PhD in Fisheries Science from the University of Ghana, and several postgraduate certificates in aquatic resource management, aquaculture, environmental assessment, and business administration from institutions in the UK, Israel, and Ghana. She served as Chief Research Scientist and Deputy Director General of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR Ghana, from 2008 to 2018. Her research has focused on freshwater and coastal ecosystems, fish species ecology, illegal mining impacts on aquatic life, and community-based fisheries management. She led assessments of freshwater fish in West Africa for IUCN and contributed to drafting Ghana's national science and technology policies. Professor Mensah has consulted for the World Bank, FAO, and other international agencies. She has authored over 120 scientific publications and served as a visiting lecturer at the University of Knoxville, University of Cape Coast, and the University of Education, Winneba. She's a fellow of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences and has served on numerous national and international boards, including the Fisheries Commission, World Fish, and the Africa Women in Agricultural Research and Development Steering Committee. She chaired the Global Fisheries Biodiversity Conference, FAO 2015, and the IUCN West African Freshwater Fisheries Group. Her many accolades include the Duke of Edinburgh Gold Award, Ghana's Women in Research Excellence Award, and recognition as Africa's most influential woman in agricultural research 2013. She currently serves as director of the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the CSIR College of Science and Technology. Professor Mama Nsua-Mensah.
Good afternoon, Prof. Chair, colleague scientists, international scientists who are here, and the students who've come here to the launch of Professor Allotey's lecture on quantum science and technology. This is my own personal memory of Professor Allotey. I met Professor Allotey in the 1970s when he visited my father, Mr. S.R.R. Crawford, who was then the headmaster of Kufridua Secondary Technical School. My father had done physics and mathematics in the University of Ghana, and he admired Professor Allotey and talked about him often to me. He told me about his groundbreaking work on mathematics and nuclear physics. That was the first time I heard about the Allotey constant, or Allotey formalism. Incidentally, both of them were strong advocates of technical vocational education training in the country. My father was headmaster. He founded Suhum Sectech and Kufridua Sectech. In 1973, Professor Allotey won a Prince Philip Gold Medal Award for his work on soft X-ray spectroscopy. Through this work, he developed a method, the Allotey formalism, to determine matter in outer space. My father told me that he was the first African to be named after a theorem. I was about 15 at that time when I met him, and was very excited when I heard that the great Professor Allotey was coming to visit. Imagine my surprise when I saw this very nice, affable, smiling, unassuming man who spoke impeccable Fanti. Hey, that is a local dialect, and was interested in everything. I assumed great scientists only spoke English and had an air of pomposity and superiority around them. I did not know, but that at that time, I was expecting somebody like that. My father was very amused when I mentioned that to him. and he hoped meeting the great man who would spur me on to do physics and mathematics. Unfortunately for my father, I opted to study biology at the university. I met him once again when I went to study at the University of Cape Coast on his occasional visits there. He mentored a lot of young students and lecturers at UCC and helped establish a laser and fiber optics center, LAFOC, which was an African regional center that provided training in laser and fiber optics technology for professionals in various fields, including medicine, agriculture, industry, communication, and environmental studies. This is affiliated with the International Center for Theoretical Physics in Trieste, Italy. It was later when I went to work at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research that I got to know him better. He had chaired the council at one time and knew a lot about the organization. Incidentally, he was also my husband Clement's mentor, and we would visit him occasionally at home at East Legon. He was interested in everything we're doing, and we had stimulating conversations with him. I learned about his passion for salt pond. My mother came from Kuntu near Salt Pond, and my husband from Komenda. So we talked a lot about the development of the central region and grooming young people in science, technology, and leadership from the region. I was not surprised when he located his beloved African Institute for Mathematical Science, AIMS, at Brewa. It was his dream to have an institute at which students from all over the continent could study for their master's degree in mathematical sciences for free. And we were happy for him when AIMS became a reality. I do not know if they still have sponsorship so they can study for free. And I was very sad that they left Brewa. He and my husband encouraged me when I told them I wanted to apply for the position of Deputy Director General of the CSIR and listened to the vision I had for the organization. When I got the position, we had several discussions on how the CSIR could make more impact on the Ghanaian scientific and technological landscape. He was very enthusiastic when I told him that the CSIR had decided to have a postgraduate school. Students were already interning at the institutes of the council, but he agreed that using the vast resources of the council for a structured postgraduate school would help more young people acquire a postgraduate degree in science, and that was the way to go. CSIR has 13 institutes of various fields. The graduate school was a modular system where there was hybrid virtual learning in the evening and weekend lab work. Most of the lecturers were retired scientists. The college was affiliated to the University of Cape Coast during the tenure of Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Ejiman, the current vice president, when she was vice chancellor. And Professor Jofus Anamwa-Mensah graciously agreed to chair the board. And the board members were people who bought into the idea. I must say that we had a lot of opposition from the orthodox universities. But Professor Allotey defended the concept when some members of the university community did not think it was a good one. But having his endorsement encouraged CSIR to move on. And today the CSIR College has graduated its 5th batch of postgraduate students, many of them workers. I always remember when he said, what he said at that time. He said, if you go to the market, a lot of people sell tomatoes, but you choose to go to the vendor with good quality tomatoes with the shape and size you want, meaning the existing universities should not fear the competition. Professor Allotey opened the doors to many deserving scientists in the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences when he was president of the academy. He looked for them at the CSIR, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the University of Cape Coast, Noguchi Memorial Institute, the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, and anywhere in Ghana where he could find them. He actually looked for these scientists. Prior to that, the academy was more like a Legon mafia. Those of whose life he impacted were blessed to have had him in our lives. He showed us humility, selflessness, and integrity. Above all, he was a scientist and a Christian. We will remember his sense of humor and his passion for mentoring young people, not only in Ghana, but in Africa. He chose not to hide his light, but to share it. He loved women, not in the erotic sense. He particularly encouraged them in science, technology, and mathematics and innovation. I am one of his mentees. Today, I am happy that the international community has decided to honor him in Ghana. I would like to specially thank Dr. Esandu Yedu and Madam Sarah Osei for keeping his memory alive in Ghana. May Professor Allotey's soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama. I know Prof is very proud of today, and it's emotional for some of us who worked closely with him. It's, for me, on a personal level, it's an honor fulfilled. For 8 years, I have dreamt about this day. I have fought, I have tried to bring everybody to see this day. So it's an honor, and I know his trademark, he doesn't clap too much, is to tap his fingers. And by now, he's doing that. The second person to talk about Professor Allotey, we have already introduced him, so I'm not going to read his profile, is Dr. Joseph Esandu Yedu. He is representing the family. There are some family members here. Dr. Esandu, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, so thank you, Sarah, also very close to Prof. Allotey, right? Well, I'm representing the family because I've been very close to Prof. And I really, on the night just about that he passed on, I was there by his side, encouraging him. I left the house around 8:30 p.m. I wasn't happy. My wife asked me why. She said I wasn't happy with the way I saw Prof. So that when I didn't sleep, I switched off all my phones. Then 4:30, I opened it. Then, Doc, our Prof and your man is gone. Oh! They had to write to the place. Course. So the media was there in front of the house. You see, we wanted to be sure. So later on, we publicly informed them, yes, it's true. That Prof have gone. Yes. So this is how it started. All protocols observed. Prof. Allotey really, this day is a very special day. Like Sarah said, he passed on in 8 years ago in November. You see, if I've been somewhere else, every year there will be something in Hannah. So we have been forced not to cry all the time for this, including Mama. You see, the institute is set up, but I'll come to that. So, Prof. Allotey was born on 9th August 1932 in the coastal town of Sorpon in Central Area, right? Those times, those big times. Before that time, it wasn't called Ghana. It was called the young men, the students, Gold Coast. You see, but then he was a member of the UGCC, one of the groups, United Gold Coast Convention, right? One of the groups that fought for independence for our country. Right, fine. A pioneer physicist, mathematician, educator, and visionary whose contribution have left an indelible mark on science and society. Yes, he began his education at St. John the Baptist Catholic School. He was a Catholic. Yes, and later became one of the first students, that the pioneer students at the Ghana National College. So if you go to Ghana National College now, the science faculty, the science lab has been named after him. Prof. Allotey's building. Interesting. And later became one of the first students, yeah. And then that school was founded by Kwame Nkrumah. And the interesting that time, those, the British were around. If you are British, forgive me. And then, no, he was really very hard, tough on independence. So the students in schools, in some of your schools, like some of you who stood for Kwame, will be dismissed. So he gathered all those students and used them to establish the Ghana National College. You see, is it not interesting? Yes, fine, yeah, fine. So, in recognition of his the college recently, that I've mentioned that. So his academic journey took him beyond the shores of Ghana. After studying completing with the Ghana National College, he wanted to do his second degree, the tertiary degree. I would say the first degree. So those times we were in Ghana here, University of Ghana wasn't around. It's like a tutorial school. It wasn't called University of Ghana then. So he went there with tutorial, and then that time he wanted to travel abroad. If the colonial master does not take you there, you have to go to Sierra Leone. So he went to Sierra Leone and then went there. Over there in UK, he was admitted at the London Borough of Polytechnic. Now it's called South Bank University. That was renamed, that was around 1992, when they upgraded the number of polytechnics. Yeah. So then from there, he proceeded to Imperial College of Science and Technology. Right. The students, have you heard of Imperial College of Science and Technology? It's in London, UK. Read about it. Fine. And then there, interestingly, while starting the BSc at the SAM, he didn't finish. He was so intelligent. I would say too intelligent. So you don't need to do the first degree. So they jump him straight away to Imperial College. So Imperial College, there he makes a famous Pakistani Nobel laureate, Professor Abdul Salam, a physicist from Pakistan. Yeah. So he too liked him, then adopted him as his boy, as a mentee, and then started bringing up. So from there, in 1966, he moved to Princeton University in the US. And there too, he made famous physicists and scientists like Robert Oppenheimer and then Paul Dirac. Dirac law, you know those things? Not yet, perhaps. So it was printed that he developed the world-renowned Allotey formalism, or some of us you call Allotey's constant. Have you heard of Allotey's constant? Yes, that's it. Where usually in space, we say, but there's a whole lot of things in space. We say in space, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. That interferes the movement of some of these particles and then X-rays over the so many things, including the what we are learning, the quantum, all based on quantum science, quantum movement. Do you see? You see light. You say light is a wave, but over there in space, it's not a wave. It's full of particles called photons. Have you heard of photons? Yes, good. Photons. So that's the time. So he studied the movement of the X-rays. Do you see? And then formulated a formula for it. Do you see? And that enabled them to locate some of these, I would say, space particles and all those things. So that formula, that's what we call the Allotey's formalism. Yeah. So then we have the different kind of X-rays, the soft head X-rays and the high X-rays. The soft ones are usually very difficult to detect, but he was able to develop that form, able to detect that one. Yes. And that was the importance of that kind of thing. So Ghana here, when he returned, in fact, 1973, because of his achievement in the X-ray spectroscopy, he was awarded, or like Madam Professor Mama said, the UK Prince Philip Gold Medal. That's in 1973. So he returned to Ghana, he joined KNUST. And that time, almost some of the youth, hey, you are going to KNUST, you're going to meet Prof. Allotey. Prof. Allotey. Allotey's constant. So one day, well, I too moved, I was in the sciences, reading physics. Then, I was standing somewhere at the administration. Somebody said, this is Professor Allotey. Hey, very simple man. You don't believe it. Wearing his slippers and all that. Do you see? Then later on, another professor was there, Professor Abandam, if I should have been here, but because of one or two things. Then it went, hey, blah, blah, blah. Prof, this is Lost Ekumfi man. Ekumfi is a group in, I would say, one of these groups in the central region, ethnic group. I would say not a group, one of the fancy groups, yes. And then, why? Because I was born in Kumasi. Hey, come. Then, yes, and then from there, he made me develop the interest in physics. Otherwise, when I was reading physics, I wanted to go and read electrical engineering. I guess some of you like that. BC, but then I look at my qualification. Now, Grace, I could have done engineering, electricals. So I was starting messing around, fooling. Then somebody called, hey, don't joke with your grade. You know where it's going to take you to? Yeah, sit down and study properly. Then from there, I saw as my Jeep started moving up. You see, so even though that it was very difficult to get first class. You see, I didn't get even first, second class up. At those times, we're not like now where I'm 100 students will get about first class. Now about those times, at least one. And then if the second class up will be about 2 or 3. But I couldn't get that one too. But look at you, you deserve. So, interestingly, I was interviewed, you know, this morning I said it, by CSIR after my degree in physics. Then the Ghana now Standard Authority. Lucy, but I was posted to Apam Secondary School. Some people were worried, but I didn't care at all. Made me study the physics more. And then one day I approached Spectator, the weekly Spectator. Do you know the Spectator? Yes. And then started writing feature articles for them. Started with solar energy. Do you see Voyager going to outer space? Do you see that kind? So you don't joke with your face. That it's open your eyes to so many things. Do you see? And then one thing was when I wrote a certain paper, publication on solar-powered micro transmission from space. The whole idea was that time we were not having, the city was, the whole country was about 25% covered in terms of electricity access. So we could use solar, because at that time there was also what we call the load shedding, doom saw. 12 hours today, 12 hours tomorrow, and that kind of thing. So now you are lucky. You see, so there other institutions are there, all through the late Professor Allotey. So very, very important. This will really encourage the youth who are coming. You see. So over here, when he returned, he became the first Ghanaian professor of mathematics. The head of department, the dean of science, and later pro-vice chancellor of KNUST. Yeah, so Ghana, he will also call him Ghana's Einstein, because the next Einstein will come from Africa. Yeah. So, over there, that time, no computer in Ghana. You don't see any computer in Ghana anywhere. Do you see? When you see the picture, big, huge building like this one. Do you see? But then when he came, he introduced us computer science university. His colleagues were very angry. Look, you just wasting resources. How many computers will you? I say, let's look towards the future. Let's look towards the future. And now look at computer sciences. Do you see? Yes. And then started introducing all these quantum mechanics, When my brother here said, hey, Joe, how about the quantum? Do you see? Yes, he started all those things. Yeah, fine. Now, from there, so then they accepted it. He also introduced the semester system into the country. Formerly, we all ran the imperial system, first term, second term, third term. But he introduced it at the KNUST, And also the modular system. You do a course, you finish it, and you move to another one. I've seen that have been very, very helpful. Yes, fine. So over there in 1983, there was a serious drought in Ghana. You see, where like we had I would say, 12-hour load shedding, rolling load shedding. So we're looking at other sources of energy. That made me write the solar energy paper and publication. This is where a number of countries started inviting me. You see, then he brought me, because they brought me from the secondary school, and then come and come and work with the National Energy Commission. That's why it was called Energy Board. You see, where then I was made the first program officer for solar energy to promote solar energy in the country. So those times, Ghana Telecom wanted us to achieve 100% access using solar. So almost everywhere they go, time you could ring. You see, otherwise those times, before you could ring abroad, not like now, you have to have dawn, and at midnight, you have to go and be at a certain Ghana post office station and be ringing. Now you are lucky if you can call from here. You see, thank him for his contribution and all those kind of things. Fine. So he set up the energy research group that look at other sources of energy, which is to complement the grid we have. You see, and then out of it also look at nuclear power. You see, so through him, we set up you said then no nuclear power, not only for power electricity, but also for other applications. Those if you have cancer, either you are left to die or have to travel abroad. But here now, you go to Kolebu or KNUST, Konfonoshi Hospital, now they have the facility to treat cancer, you see, and all those things, fine. So, then with the energy research, we're doing something. Every 2 years, we have what we call it, the National Energy Symposium, where we handle energy issues. Invite the youth, the students, to bring ideas. Then where we find them lacking, then the following year, we have a National Energy College, where experts from abroad will come and train us. Do you see? And that's building capacity. It was access to a lot of links, funding. So that was a helpful kind of thing. And then also, we set up energy colleges, bringing people from outside, also help Ghanaians to travel abroad. Do you see? For further state areas that were not happening in Ghana. Yeah. So, through him, Ghana became, I would say, through him, Ghana became a member of the International Atomic Energy Agency and also the International Union of Pure and Applied Physics. He was a founding fellow of the Accra African Academy of Sciences and the founding president of Ghana Institute of Physics and then the African Physics Society. Otherwise, those times were only Ghana Institution of Engineers. Now you have also that for physics and all that. Right? So he served on a number of boards, chaired major national institutions such as the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, CS Salada, he mentioned, Professor Mama mentioned, and then also Ghana Energy Commission. That was where I used to be. Yes. And then, like in health, he championed the study of the radiotherapy at the Nuclear Medicine Center at Kolebu and Konfonochi. Yeah, so then, with time, quantum now pick up in our universities. What are the applications that we could do to really help the country? So the next thing we will do, okay, let's set up a center, because that time laser started growing up. We read the laser. You go out these international displays here. You see the light, it's red, blue is blue, that kind of thing going back. Yes, but the first time I saw one was in South Africa. You see at the University of Stellenbosch, when they were doing this place. Oh, again, let's also set up over here. Then gradually we found that then he was really linked to the University of Cape Coast, because really he was also instrumental in moving the university from college status to a full university status. So helping to build the infrastructure is particularly the physics department and then other science departments. So we set up the laser and an optics center, that's the LAFOC, and then where people could see laser and then fiber optics. Now Ghana Telecom, they are using the fiber for their communication. Formerly, it was just the copper one, this gross will go and cut and all this. Now you cut the, maybe go anything. So, driven by a vision to nurture Africa, he founded the Institute of Mathematical Sciences. In fact, I was one of the first lecturers or instructors where we were training people in the application and then different what they call of mathematics. These are then returned from Sweden, my master's, and then an area particular. I was more in the atmospheric sciences and all that. So then later on, there's a colleague in South Africa who also had that vision, and that they put together, and that became the African Institute of Mathematical Sciences. So now, the physicists, those who want to be physicists, and don't think we are going to classroom alone. There are now a lot of opportunities that if you do physics, you can get into, so particularly through the aims and others. Yeah. And then, so in 2005, the nation awarded him the Millennium Excellence Award, the Order of Volta in 2009, and the Sajifo Kwame Nkrumah African Genius Award 2017. He was also featured in the book 100 Reasons to Be a Scientist. On a personal note, Prince, that's a personal life. He had two married. The first one was from Barbados, called Madame Edoris or Mrs. Edoris, and then the lady passed away later, around 1981. They remarried a Ghanaian, and this time Ruby Esi Mrekua, and then he had two children. So they raised. He had two children, the Barbados wife, and then Madame Esi also brought two. So they brought the four together. Yeah. So he passed away peacefully, like I'm saying, on 2nd November 2017. I was the only outsider, because God being so, because maybe he drew so close to him that when I left, just about 1 hour, 1.5 hours, he passed on. So, and since he passed on, unfortunately, we expected some institutions to take over annually, but it never happened. So we thank God. Sorry for mentioning God over here, if you don't like to hear that. For this summit to be awarding him, assuring us that every year we are going to have annual summit or conference in honor of him, and also promotion of quantum science and technology, our technology. And quantum technology, don't say something big. The lasers you see, the photon is so many things that to help you, to also to help Ghana to apply this. It has a lot of applications, dimension agriculture, and also in medicine. Like I keep saying, yes, particularly when they are treating with cancer, or if you have a cancer. If they are using the general radiation, you see, it's a bit broad, you will not see it. So at times they complain, people who go there to the hospital complain, at times they will lose their voice and others. But if it's laser-based, that one is direct, and one wave that are selected, that one virtually nothing, no side effect. But here we don't have the equipment, so that's why most those who have the money, you see, then they go abroad. I'll not mention the politicians. They go abroad, and then have it, and all those. So those of us, we are not lucky, you are here. Okay, so may his soul rest in perfect peace in the bosom of Almighty.
Thank you, Dr. Sandor. Thank you. That tells you how passionate he is with Professor Allotey. We are getting to the main issue, but I want to state some things here and thank certain people for setting the stage for us. Professor Allotey has done many things which family has talked about, but one unique thing that he did and which he ended even whilst in service actively fighting for it was the establishment of the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences. And in 2003, when Professor Neil Turok had the idea of bringing Africa together because he believed Africa had the talent, Africa had the skills, but what was missing was the ability to get the best from the world to teach African students. Professor Allotey was the first person he contacted to start African Institute for Mathematical Sciences in South Africa. He was the first steering committee member, the first board chair when AIM started in South Africa in 2012. 2003. And after practicing AIMS for about 6 years, they thought about scaling AIMS. So they started in Ghana in 2009. Under the Ministry of Education, the then Minister Tete Inyo, under the UNESCO Office, Ghana Commission for UNESCO, they sent a bill to UNESCO to establish AIMS as one of the nodes of Centers of Excellence in 2009. But as you know, our bureaucracies and a lot of things, he was already running his Institute for Mathematical Sciences on his own. His prodigies are here. If I want to mention names, everybody almost here has something to say about Professor Allotey. And they went to start Senegal as the next one in the scale-up because Ghana was delaying. But he was insistent. So in 2012, AIMS Ghana was established. And I would say that one of the first tutors of AIMS Ghana, Professor Mahu, Dr. Mahu, is here with us in running the postgraduate program. I joined in 2013, and it became a marathon. At times, I'm called a secretary, a personal assistant, and even at other times, I'm the messenger who will do the job, and that is Professor Allotey. So, Mama talked about funding, whether it is sustainable or not. In 2015, we started being hit by funding. 2016, it became aggressive to close down AIMS. But then, Professor Allotey was worried. He had already brought in Professor Namwa Mensah, and that is why I got to meet Professor Namwa Mensah as well. So we were looking for opportunities. Actually, people were detailed to come and close the center. And I worked closely with Professor Allotey, so I got all the messages, and it was sleepless nights. Anybody that mattered in Ghana, whether morning, afternoon, night, we visited his home. We were pleading, how do we get government involved? How do we sustain this that he has started? So we were fortunate, and we met Mr. Rich Mike Wellington. Then he said, well, in UNESCO, there's something called Category 2 Centers of Excellence. They are governmental arrangements. So if you go through this, government will fund you. And we started the journey. January 2017, we started the journey for AIMS to become a UNESCO Center of Excellence Category 2. And on record time, I don't think any institution has done it. In April, UNESCO sent people to come and do assessments, whether we qualify. So in October, we were in Paris. The AIMS team were Professor Allotey, who is late, Professor Ayensu, who is also late, Mr. Molai Kamara, he's a Guinean based in South Africa, and myself. We had to put strategy and everything. We got the backing of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. We got the backing of a lot of individuals and institutions for this. We went to UNESCO. It was fun. Serving them, moving them. We moved like trail, me and my old men, because they were all over 80. And I'm the one younger person serving them, moving along with them. It was fun. When we got to UNESCO, he had already cemented his name. So there was no debate on Ghana's quest to establish a center of excellence. We sailed through beautifully 5 days, and they were praising him in the hall. He was so happy. When they read and nobody asked a question, UK even contributed to accepting AIMS as a UNESCO Center Category 2 status, and he was happy. I never saw him as happy at that period. So we were planning to go, UNESCO, they have two things. You go for the executive board, and then in 2-3 weeks, you have to go for General Conference. And we were preparing for the General Conference. On the 30th of October, we had received a delegation from the University of Liverpool. We were working on a research center at AIMS. So I was also preparing to come from Briwa. So we go for the trip to Paris. And he said, okay, don't come. Usually I have to go for the meetings with him. So shuttling Briwa, Accra. Don't come, prepare. This one, I will go with them so that we can prepare. Saturday on the 2nd of November, we go. And this was Thursday. Legon called me. He's never late for meetings. The meeting was supposed to happen at 9. 9:10, Legon called me. Where are you? I said, oh, I'm not coming, but Prof, I know he's ready. Let me call home. All my life with him, I never heard he was sick. I never heard he goes for his checkups. But to be on admission, I never heard. So when I called, the driver picked and he said, Auntie Sarah, Prof is sick, we are taking him to hospital. Everything about me dropped because the man I know, he's always running. And surprisingly, around 3 p.m., they called me and said, he's fine. He says that he wants to go home. They've talked to his driver, he's fine. He has come home, and we have something we laugh about. Gideon is here, Kwesi wave. One thing that he will ask when he comes home is, Ebiaba. Ebiaba is, has any mail come? So from hospital, he's coming to work. So we have to print his mails for him. But I told them today, no Ebiaba. When he asked, nobody should print for him. Then Dr. Sando and everybody was with him. So the day we were supposed to travel, the day before, Prof came from, chat with everybody, did everything, but then he couldn't travel with us to Paris. He was never sick for 24 hours, but he had finished his work. And when we went to Paris, no debate. It was rather tributes galore. From Nigeria, UK, everybody. And here we are today to honor this great man. This is the contribution of Professor Allotey. And for us at ESDE Foundation Africa, we don't want to wait for any of our heroes to pass on before we do this. So next year, around the first quarter of March, we will send you emails. We want to celebrate another hero. Not to bore you, I'll pass the microphone to Joe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, boring you is my job. Thanks. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our